Rohith Vemula case, way back from 2015, is back in the limelight. This time, the Telangana Police, under a Congress government, has decided to close and file a closure report in the Rohith Vemula case. They have given a clean chit to all the accused. In its closure report, the Telangana Police have also claimed that Rohith Vemula was not a Dalit and that he committed suicide because he was afraid that his real caste identity would be discovered by the college authorities. Telangana Police also claim that his caste certificates were forged and that the case has been closed on account of lack of evidence. The report thus, in a way, absolves the then Secunderabad MP, Mr. Bandaru Dattatreya, the then MLC, N. Ramachandra Rao, and the University of Hyderabad Vice-Chancellor at that time, Appa Rao. Besides, of course, the Union Minister for Women and Child Development, at that time the Union HRD Minister, Smriti Irani, as well as leaders of the ABVP, because the students at that time in 2015 took out a number of protests and marches inside the campus saying that this was a clear-cut case of discrimination against a Dalit and that he committed suicide because he couldn't take it anymore. That entire argument or that entire position, that entire defense has now come crumbling, and that too by a closure report filed by a police which reports to a Congress government, to a Congress administration.
Report. That was not finalized yet. We did not receive any report from the district collector.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. So you're saying, what is your reaction on this report that has been filed by the Telangana Police?
We will fight. And we have an option the High Court has given a direction to file a protest petition in the lower court. We are looking for the legal option also.
Okay. In the report, Raja, the Telangana Police has mentioned that Rohith Vemula himself was not a Dalit. This is not coming to the fore for the first time, but once again this argument has resurfaced. Your reaction?
See, that should be given whether we are SC or not. That should be come from a district collector's or from Guntur. Waiting for that.
What is your next course of action?
That is not.
All right, that was Swastika, my colleague, speaking to Raja Vemula, the brother of Rohith Vemula. Swastika is now joining us live. I believe there's a campus protest at the Hyderabad Central University. But the most intriguing part of this report, Swastika, is what is the state government saying? Because after all, this is the Telangana Police. There is currently a Congress administration there under Revant Reddy. And of course, the Congress back in 2015 had made a huge issue of this. Rahul Gandhi had personally gone to the HCE campus. In fact, even now, in the 2024 manifesto, they have promised to bring something called the Rohith Vemula Act to cut down on discrimination against students who are from a Dalit background. What is the Congress government there in the state saying? Because their own police are saying that Mr. Vemula was not a Dalit.
Well, the official word from the state government is still awaited, but we are given to understand that Rohith Vemula's family has in fact sought an appointment to meet with Telangana Chief Minister Revant Reddy, and sources have indicated that in all likelihood that meeting is going to be through in the next coming hours. Having said that, let me bring you back to what's happening here at the Hyderabad Central University. Protests have broken out. Ambedkar student associations here are calling for the immediate rollback of the report and say this is a ploy to not just malign the Ambedkar Student Association but also humiliate Rohith Vemula. But what I want to highlight particularly are three particular things from that report. Number one, the police has filed a closure report saying there is no evidence. Point number two, the report says that Rohith Vemula was not a Dalit. His mother claims to be from the Mala community, but she was married to somebody who hailed from another caste. And third point is that Rohith Vemula's suicide may not be driven by the fact that he was targeted on the basis of caste, but rather was afraid of being exposed of his actual caste status. With that, I also want to highlight the report clearly says there were no other evidences that suggest that Rohith Vemula was targeted on the basis of his caste, and more importantly, the fact that the family even now continues to claim that they are being targeted and maligned rather than being properly properly investigated by the police. The family's version is that we had submitted all the documents to the district level committee, but despite that, none of that has featured in the closure report. So the next course of action for the family is to meet the government here in Telangana. Pertinent to note that it's a Congress government here in Telangana, so we can perhaps expect some political development whether the state government extends its support to the family or not. Time will tell, but definitely that's one thing to watch out for. Back to you.
All right, Swastika, we'll leave it at that. We'll see how this story plays out. Telangana, of course, goes to polls on the 13th of this month, and therefore this will definitely be a big talking point on the campaign trail. The BJP is already making this an issue. Let me now open this up. Quick face-off tonight on Brass Tacks as we bring in Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP. Khalikur Rahman is the leader of the Telangana Congress. Mr. Rahman, first things first, you know, for the longest time, the Congress party, and in particular Rahul Gandhi, I remember he went to the HCU campus, he camped in there and said justice for Rohith Vemula. Even in your 2024 manifesto, you're talking about Rohith Vemula Act. And a police force which is under a Congress administration, under a Congress government, under Revanth Reddy, has fired the closure report saying Mr. Vemula was not even a Dalit.
Good evening. Let me tell you that the entire investigation was done during the previous government's regime. That was the BRS government. And BRS was hand in glove with the BJP, and in collision with the BJP government, the BRS government would have instructed the investigating officers at that point of time. So accordingly, such a report would have been filed. But we are committed, because this entire issue was raised by our beloved leader, Rahul Gandhi ji, and then he fought for the justice for Rohith Vemula ji.
No, but Khalikur Rahman, tell me, why would the BRS want to fudge or fabricate a report? What is their political motive? And number two, the fact is that your government, the Congress government there, took oath in December of 2023. We are now in May of 2024. I mean, why are you talking about a government that got voted out of power 6 months ago?
No, but you see, this report was prepared during that time, and the entire investigation happened during the previous government's regime. And then and we are going to reopen the case. We are going to reinvestigate the matter, and we are going to appeal the higher judicial authority for this. We are not going to leave it here. We are not going to keep quiet. And those involved will not be spared.
The Congress spokesperson says that they will reopen the case, they will reinvestigate, they will approach the High Court, and that this whole thing was done at the behest of the BRS and BJP underhand game. Please respond.
You know, Zaka, I just want to make a few very important points. First and foremost, your audience needs to hear this very carefully. This is a tweet put out by Rahul Gandhi on the 21st of July, 2017. And this is how it goes. Rahul Gandhi says, they say Rohith Vemula committed suicide. I call it murder. He was murdered by the indignities he suffered. He was killed because he was a Dalit. I say, without knowing the facts on hand, Rahul Gandhi, as is so typical of him, he was making inflammatory and incendiary comments way back in 2017. If you recall, Zaka, at that time, regime change, rag pieces like Washington Post picked up the Rohith Vemula issue, and this entire issue spread like fire. And I remember Smriti Irani was then the Union HRD minister, and she came in for a lot of flack. And today Rahul Gandhi does not have the decency to even offer an apology that after making incendiary comments some 6-7 years back, today we find out that Rohith Vemula was not even a Dalit. Now please keep quiet, I did not heckle you. My larger point is this, Zaka, I won't be verbose. Beat B.R. Ambedkar, who was denied an entry into the Lok Sabha because his chances were scuttled repeatedly by Pandit Nehru. He had to finally take the Rajya Sabha route. He was given a Bharat Ratna in 1990, 34 years after his death in 1956. Or beat a Sitaram Kesri, or beat a Ramnath Kovind, a Dalit president whom Sonia Gandhi visited 20 months after he took oath as the president of India, or for that matter, Babu Jagjeevan Ram, one of the tallest Dalit leaders who also happened to be India's defense minister under the Congress erstwhile dispensations, but they never even ensured that the legacy of Babu Jagjeevan Ram stayed alive. You know, ऐसा कोई बचा नहीं जिसे कांग्रेस ने ठगा नहीं, चाहे वो अंबेडकर हो, चाहे वो चौधरी चरण सिंह हो, चाहे वो कर्पूरी ठाकुर हो, चाहे वो श्यामा प्रसाद मुखर्जी हो.
Let me bring it back to the Rohith Vemula issue itself. So there are two problems, Mr. Khalikur Rahman. Number one, the entire premise that Mr. Vemula was a Dalit and he was being discriminated against, and it's because of the indignities that he suffered. Sanju Verma read out the tweet that Rahul Gandhi, your leader, put out back in 2017. It's because of those indignities that he committed suicide. That number one, that entire thing has been blown off because the Telangana police is now saying he was not even a Dalit. That's number one. Number two, all the people who were accused of abetment to suicide have been given a clean chit. So basically, the police have filed a closure report. They're saying no case against any of these individuals, from the VC at that time, an MLC at that time, there was a union MOS at that time, a case against none of these individuals because Mr. Vemula only and only was responsible for his death. There was no abetment by any of these individuals. Therefore, the case is closed. So on both the counts, the Dalit card has also failed. The suicide or abetment to suicide card has also failed.
In fact, in your very question, you have answered everything, because all the leaders and all the accused who were involved there, and they were all the BJP leaders. And at that time, as I mentioned earlier, that it was the BRS government, and the BRS government, under the pressure from the BJP, would have instructed the investigating officials at that point of time, which we will definitely reinvestigate now, and we'll make sure that whoever were there at that point of time and who were doing the investigation, it will all be reopened again. And it was the murder. Even today, you know, we stick to the tweet of what our leader, Sanjay ji, I didn't tell you, to what our leader Rahul ji has tweeted at that point of time. Yeah. So it is the BJP who just wants to load, you know, it out of proportion. And another thing I'm telling you, the police, in fact, here what I in fact say, that has not investigated the matter based on the allegations, but they have totally, you know, changed the direction of the case.
Sanju Verma, final word, that all the accused in this case were BJP leaders, and they came under pressure. The BRS government came under pressure from the BJP and therefore gave a clean chit to all the accused persons.
You know, anybody who understands the nitty-gritties of law and has basic common sense knows that all the accused were not BJP supporters or BJP leaders in the Rohith Vemula case. That is a big lie, and we will send a legal notice to anyone who tries peddling this kind of a fake narrative in the midst of one of the most important general elections. But most importantly this, who's the Chief Minister of Telangana? Congress leader Revanth Reddy. Who's the de facto Home Minister of Telangana, to whom the police reports to? It is Revanth Reddy. And who's the Advocate General of Telangana? The Advocate General is very important in this overall scheme of things, because the police cannot file a closure report unless they have approval from three places. One is the Chief Minister / Home Minister, which is Revanth Reddy in this case. One is the Advocate General, that is Sudarshan Reddy. And one is the DGP, who also reports into Revanth Reddy, the DGP in this case being Ravi Gupta. I want to ask, Sudarshan Reddy, the Congress Advocate General of Telangana, gave his go-ahead. Revanth Reddy gave his go-ahead to file the closure report. The DGP of Telangana, Ravi Gupta, gave his go-ahead to file the closure report in the Rohith Vemula case. पर आप कटघरे में किसको खड़ा कर रहे हैं, किसके माथे और किसके सर पे आप ठीकरा फोड़ रहे हैं? Again BJP. Are we in power in Telangana? No. Law and order is a state subject. Revanth Reddy has a lot of questions to answer.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much, Sanju Verma and Khalikur Rahman, for joining us. Like I said, I suspect this is going to get blown up on the campaign trail as well. The BJP is already saying that this is a vindication of sorts to their leaders from back at that time, including the then Union HRD Minister Smriti Irani, as well as, of course, Bandaru Dattatreya and others, on whom there was some kind of a flack or a shadow at that time. So that seems to have now been completely negated by this closure report. But it is the contention of both Mr. Vemula's family members as well as the state government there that they will challenge this report, they will reopen the case and reinvestigate. So that's a wrap of this Friday edition of